The teasers dropped. The fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. A single court ruling just sent shockwaves through the biggest empire in Korean entertainment, the lawsuit that will destroy HYBE. And today, new evidence has been revealed. Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join us as we ride the Hallyu Wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
Yeah, and today we're really taking you into the heart of this monumental court victory, right? Former ADOR CEO Min Hee-jin against HYBE.
Right, exactly. We're going to analyze the totally shattered fate of the NewJeans members and really examine why the entire Korean entertainment corporate structure is just absolutely terrified of this outcome.
It's a massive story. It fundamentally alters the balance of power in the industry. For months, you've likely seen the headlines, right? This high-stakes legal war between Min Hee-jin and HYBE, the parent company of ADOR.
Oh, totally. It's been everywhere.
Yeah, and the Seoul Central District Court, under Judge Nam In-soo, they finally handed down a decision that it dismantles HYBE's core narrative. The court ordered HYBE to honor their shareholders' agreement and pay Min Hee-jin 25.5 billion won.
Which is what, like $17 million?
Yeah, roughly 17.6 million US dollars. Plus, HYBE has to cover all her litigation costs, too.
Wow. I mean, that is a legal all-kill. There is literally no other way to say it.
Right.
Like, for you guys listening, in the K-pop sphere, an all-kill is when a song hits #1 on every single chart simultaneously. And this ruling, it's the courtroom equivalent of an all-kill.
It really is.
Yeah.
But let's contextualize that payoff for anyone who, doesn't track corporate finance daily.
Yeah, please do.
So the judge ordered HYBE to buy back her 18% stake in ADOR through something called a put option.
A put option, right.
Exactly. Basically, Min Hee-jin had this pre-agreed contract clause, like an escape hatch, that forced HYBE to buy her shares back at a guaranteed massive premium, and that applies regardless of how much they were fighting.
And HYBE tried absolutely everything to void that contract, right?
Oh, they did. I mean, HYBE's entire defense hinged on the claim that she breached her contract by tampering. Specifically, that she was conspiring with outside investors to, seize control of ADOR and break NewJeans away from the parent company.
Right, which would be a massive breach.
Exactly.
Okay.
If they could prove she committed a material breach, that $17.6 million put option would be completely void. But, and this is the crazy part, the court examined new, incredibly damaging evidence.
Okay, what was it?
The judge found that the former CEO of HYBE, Park Ji-won, was actually fully aware that Min Hee-jin was seeking outside investors. She was doing it because she found her working relationship with HYBE completely untenable.
Wait, he knew?
He knew. And crucially, Park Ji-won actually texted her to go ahead.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah. Because of that specific communication, the judge ruled that her discussions with third parties, they did not constitute tampering.
So the boss literally says, go ahead. And then the corporate machine turns around and sues you for doing exactly what they approved. I mean, that completely shatters the tampering narrative.
It really does. And it didn't stop there, actually.
Oh, right, the plagiarism stuff. Because the internet was on fire for months, right? Netizens were comparing the debut visuals and the choreography of Elliot directly to NewJeans.
Yeah, they were. And HYBE argued that Min Hee-jin committed baseless defamation by making those plagiarism claims public. They said it severely damaged the company.
But the judge didn't buy that either, right?
Nope. The court rejected HYBE's argument there as well, stating that Min Hee-jin's assertions that Illit copied NewJeans were actually reasonable.
Wow. Reasonable. That's huge.
It is. The judge noted that Billish Lab, which is the HYBE subsidiary managing IL, they failed to provide substantial counter-evidence to disprove the similarities.
That is wild.
But, the mechanism behind the ruling is what really matters here. Min Hee-jin was the CEO of ADOR, right? She had a strict legal obligation, a fiduciary duty, to protect the assets of her company, which in this case is NewJeans.
Makes total sense.
So raising internal alarms about perceived copying by a sister group, that was deemed a legitimate executive action to protect her artists, not some, malicious attack on HYBE.
Yeah, I mean, if your job's to protect the group and you see another group taking your exact blueprint, you have to say something.
Exactly.
And speaking of protecting the artists, the court also ruled on the Si-hyuk allegations, which is just massive.
Oh, absolutely.
For those of you not deep in the K-pop weeds, Si-hyuk is album pushing. It's when an agency buys its own albums in bulk to artificially inflate first-week sales and chart rankings. It is a huge, huge taboo.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the allegations here centered around the NewJeans Get Up EP.
Yeah.
HYBE actually admitted in court that they asked Min Hee-jin to push the album using this method.
And she said no, right?
She refused. And then she publicly exposed the practice. HYBE tried to use this exposure against her in the lawsuit, claiming it was damaging, but the judge ruled that her refusal and her subsequent whistleblowing were in the public interest.
Wow. You know, if you're a fan who has spent the last 2 years buying albums, voting on music shows, and agonizing over these idols being locked in a corporate dungeon, this ruling feels like pure vindication.
Oh, for sure. The fandom reaction has been intense.
I've been reading Reddit's RNJZ, and the emotion is just raw. One fan wrote, "Time's the ultimate truth teller."
That's a great quote.
Right. Seeing a judge systematically validate the plagiarism claims, the Si-hyuk whistleblowing, and the tampering defense, it's huge. But, and let's be real about how corporate giants operate here. If a judge dismantles your narrative, a multi-billion-dollar company doesn't just hand over a check for $17 million and say sorry.
Right. No.
HYBE is just going to appeal this and drag it out, right?
Yeah, HYBE immediately released a statement expressing disappointment, and they confirmed they're reviewing the written ruling to proceed with an appeal.
Of course they are.
Yeah. And in the Korean legal system, an appeal means the money stays frozen. Min Hee-jin doesn't see a single one of that $25.5 billion payout until she survives the appellate courts.
That is so frustrating.
So while this is, a definitive victory, it's really only the first battle in a very long war of attrition.
But listen, if you think walking away with a court order for $17 million is the end of the story, you are vastly underestimating Min Hee-jin. Wait until you hear what she did at a bizarre 8-minute press conference that left reporters completely speechless.
Oh yeah, you have to picture this scene here because it defies every convention of Korean corporate culture.
Seriously, it was wild.
So an emergency press conference is called in Jongno-gu, Seoul. Usually executives use these moments to deliver carefully curated hour-long apologies, bowing deeply to the press, discussing future synergies.
Standard corporate PR stuff.
Exactly. Instead, Min Hee-jin arrives 5 minutes late. She's out of breath, carrying a laptop, and she simply says, "Let me catch my breath for a moment. What I have to say today is important, so I will read and explain it."
And then she drops the absolute bombshell of the century. She basically uses the $17 million she just won as a weapon.
Right. Instead of a victory lap, she reads a prepared statement offering to completely waive her 25.6 billion won put option payout.
Literally just giving it up.
Giving it up. She volunteers to walk away from the money on one condition. HYBE must drop all lawsuits against the NewJeans members and their families.
That is wow.
She speaks for exactly 8 minutes, closes her laptop, and walks right out of the room without taking a single question.
Just mic drop and leaves.
Yeah. Her own lawyer, Kim Sun-woong, was left standing there, having to awkwardly apologize to the bewildered press corps, just telling them to email their questions.
It wasn't even a press conference. It was a PR poison pill. She engineered a public hostage exchange. She essentially told HYBE, "I will give you the money back, but you have to let the girls go."
Which is an incredible maneuver.
And by doing it in 8 minutes and walking out, she completely controlled the narrative. But beneath that power move, there is absolute heartbreak regarding where the NewJeans members actually are right now, because their reality is shattered.
It really is. The legal standing of the members right now is incredibly precarious. Haran, Hein, and Hani lost their first trial to terminate their exclusive contracts.
So they're
legally, yeah.
Yeah.
They've been forced to return to ADOR and remain tied to the agency until 2029.
God, that's awful.
But Danielle's situation is even more severe. She was officially removed from the group and is facing a massive 43 billion won damages suit from ADOR.
A $30 million lawsuit against a teenager and her family. People need to understand how these K-pop contracts work. When you try to terminate early, the agencies don't just sue you for what they spent on your training.
No, it's much worse.
Right. The penalty clauses are calculated based on multiplied projections of the revenue you would have generated over the next 5 years. That is how a teenager ends up with a 43 billion won bounty on her head.
It's a completely brutal system.
Yeah.
And Minji, the group's leader, she's still stuck in some murky negotiation phase.
Yeah. You know, when Min Hee-jin said at that press conference, "I hope the 5 NewJeans members can come together again and perform on stage," every single fan knew that was aimed squarely at Danielle.
Oh, absolutely.
It is devastating. You watch these girls debut, you pick your bias, you watch the maknae grow up, and then they are reduced to collateral damage in a boardroom war.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
And while Min Hee-jin made that grand gesture for the members, she is actively and aggressively moving forward with her own career.
She is not slowing down.
Not at all. She's officially established a new entertainment company called OOAK, which stands for One of a Kind. She registered it in mid-October and has been posting these highly stylized, childlike crayon drawings on her Instagram story to, tease the artistic concept.
And there are rumors about auditions, right?
Yeah, reports indicate she is already holding auditions for a new boy group.
The duality of Knet's reacting to this is undefeated. Like, half the comments are calling her a marketing genius with unparalleled artistic vision.
Right, totally praising her.
Yeah, but the other half are incredibly cynical. One comment literally said, "Feels like people would clap even if she pooped, as long as she did it stylishly."
Oh, wow.
I know, it perfectly captures her current public perception. And hey, if you love staying updated on your favorites and decoding these massive industry shakeups, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
Always.
But wait, hold on a second. I have to ask you this. If she walks away from the money to look like a martyr and then turns around to launch a brand new agency for a new boy group, isn't she basically abandoning NewJeans?
That is the big question.
Like, she gets a fresh start with OOAK, and the girls get buried in HYBE's litigation dungeon.
That is the exact critique echoing through industry circles right now.
Well,
Her offer to waive the payout puts immense public pressure on HYBE. Legally speaking, HYBE simply responded by saying, "We have no position on this matter."
so they're ignoring it.
They aren't taking the bait at all. From a pure business strategy standpoint, launching OOAK allows Min Hee-jin to capture her current momentum and secure new venture capital while she is still a hot commodity.
Right.
But you're right, it leaves the NewJeans members in legal limbo. And honestly, that's not even the wildest part of this comeback. Later in this deep dive, we'll talk about why the actual corporate suits in the K-pop industry are terrified that this single lawsuit is going to destroy the global Hallyu Wave.
Seriously, I can feel the panic from the executive suites all the way over here. The industry is freaking out.
Oh, the panic is structural. Following the court's decision, the Korea Entertainment Producers Association, or KEPA, they released a highly unusual and just strongly worded statement expressing a deep regret over the judge's ruling.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they warned that this verdict effectively provides legal immunity for tampering.
Okay, let's break down the mechanics of this. Why is KEPA an association of producers getting involved? They aren't HYBE. What is their actual fear here?
Their fear is the complete collapse of the venture capital model that funds K-pop.
Oh, the money. Always the money.
Exactly. The entire industry runs on deficit spending. Agencies pour millions of dollars into housing, feeding, and training teenagers for years before they even debut.
Right.
The only way investors agree to fund that massive upfront cost is because the artists sign ironclad, 7-year exclusive contracts. KEPA argues that if a creative director can actively shop a group to outside investors, and the courts refuse to penalize them just because the plan wasn't fully executed, then the foundational trust is broken.
Right, because venture capitalists aren't going to pour millions into a new girl group if the producer can just quietly build an exit strategy, get caught, and face zero financial consequences.
Exactly.
The investors take all the risk, and the creatives can just walk away with the profitable asset.
That is exactly the mechanism they are terrified of. KEPA stated that if this precedent stands, investments will shrink immediately. Creative talents and new projects will be hit first, which will devastate the small and medium-sized companies that don't have HYBE's massive cash reserves.
So it hurts the little guys most.
Yeah. They essentially accuse the court of ruling based on contract technicalities while totally failing to understand the harsh financial realities of the production site.
So they are terrified. This sets a precedent that ruins the K-pop economy. But Min Hee-jin isn't exactly walking away completely untouched here. the media play against her has been vicious, and she still has a mountain of lawsuits to fight.
Oh, she is navigating a legal minefield.
Right.
We mentioned Danielle's 43 billion won suit, but ADOR also has a separate 33 billion won damages suit pending against Min Hee-jin herself.
It's just endless lawsuits.
It is. And on top of that, there is a 100 million won civil suit from a former ADOR employee. This stems from a workplace harassment case where the employee alleged verbal abuse and claimed Min Hee-jin shielded an executive who was doing the harassing.
Oh, right. I remember reading about that.
Yeah, the Ministry of Employment and Labor actually fined Min Hee-jin for failing to properly investigate that situation.
And what about the criminal charges? Because HYBE literally tried to get her arrested for embezzlement and something they called occult management.
Right, the occult management claims.
Yeah.
So the police did drop Min Hee-jin's criminal complaints against HYBE executives regarding their press releases about her occult management.
Okay.
However, the prosecution noted in their dismissal that while HYBE's press releases might have been slightly exaggerated, Min Hee-jin did, in fact, consult a shaman about ADOR's management via Kakao Talk.
Wait, she actually did?
She did, because she engaged with a shaman for business advice. The prosecution ruled that HYBE's claims weren't entirely false, which cleared the executives of defamation.
Let's pause on that because the cultural context is so important here. In Korean business, consulting a shaman or a fortune teller isn't entirely unheard of.
Right, it happens.
But having your Kakao Talks leaked to the public, showing you asking a shaman about the military enlistment dates of rival boy groups so you can time your own album releases, that crosses a line from personal superstition into corporate espionage, and it is a PR nightmare.
Oh, it really is.
And the rumor mill is just churning to capitalize on it. I mean, Dispatch just ran a massive story claiming Min Hee-jin met with a powerful Japanese aristocrat to secure funding for a NewJeans breakaway.
Her response to that Dispatch report was characteristically explosive.
Oh my gosh, she took to her social media and absolutely torched them. She wrote, "No one is going to fall for that kind of fiction anymore."
Classic Min Hee-jin.
She basically accused HYBE of launching a reverse viral marketing campaign, fabricating rumors to distract the public from her historic court victory. And my absolute favorite part is when she addressed the reporters directly and said, "You would probably do a great job writing sci-fi novels or scripts for trashy soap operas."
Wow.
She does not hold back an inch.
She really doesn't. But, regardless of who wins the PR battle or even the final appeals, the structural damage is already done. Legal experts are actively predicting that the big four agencies, HYBE, SM, YG, and JYP, are watching this case closely.
Oh, you know they are.
And they are going to rewrite future idol and producer contracts to be totally ironclad. They will insert highly specific clauses addressing precisely the kind of gray area maneuverings Min Hee-jin was accused of. The era of handshake agreements and loosely defined fiduciary duties in K-pop is dead.
So the producers are crying about trust and venture capital investments drying up. But what about the trust of the artists?
That's the real question.
If the big four rewrite these contracts to be even more restrictive, aren't we about to see an era where agencies treat idols even more like expendable products just to protect their bottom lines? Like, will the teenage trainees have to sign away even more of their fundamental rights just to get a shot at a debut?
That is the tragic irony of this entire legal war. In an attempt to insulate themselves from another rogue executive or creative director, the agencies will likely implement draconian contractual obligations.
And the kids pay the price.
Exactly. The people who will suffer the absolute most aren't the millionaire CEOs fighting in court. It will be the trainees who have absolutely zero leverage to negotiate.
It's awful. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update as this legal war continues to unfold. Because when you look at the fallout, there are no clean hands here, and the collateral damage is just heartbreaking.
It really brings us to a critical reflection point. The court has spoken for now, the multi-million-dollar payouts are pending, and new agencies like OOAK are being formed, but the ecosystem itself is wounded.
It is, and when the dust finally settles on this historic lawsuit and the 25.5 billion won is either paid or waived, what actually happens to the music? If the brilliant creative minds and the massive corporate machines can no longer trust each other, will the magic of the Hallyu Wave survive this civil war, or will the art be permanently lost in the boardroom?
You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu Wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.